So, what are we doing?
Buying two hot chocolate. It's supposed to be blurred.
I don't know how to blur faces. We're making a Starbucks stop to get some hot chocolates on our way out to visit the chickens and the turkey. The ducks.
Turkey pavon.
Turkey pavon.
Slowly being Americanized.
Ah, yes.
By the bad influence of a lady.
Of a lady making you buy Starbucks.
Yes.
You like it. So. Hello. Hi, ladies. This is... Hi. Hi, buddy. Hey. Hello friends, and welcome to this video. In this video, I'm going to be attempting to process some pumpkin for the first time, to have pumpkin puree on hand using the pumpkins I have out here decorating my patio. I did want to just take a little video of what my patio looks like right now. This is my fall version of my patio, just so I have kind of the memory of it before we get some really cold weather. I've really enjoyed the mums and pansies and cabbages that I have out here. I have that big cabbage right there. It's really pretty. I have a couple of big mums. I do have a little like succulent hanging out back there that's just left over from a couple years ago actually. But up here, I've loved having my little flamingos out here. I had them out during the summer. I got them back in June, but I thought it was kind of silly to have them in my fall rail baskets too, and I don't know, I like stuff like that. So I've enjoyed having those out even in the fall. I have some sedum here that's doing really well. Just some really pretty small cabbages and pansies in different colors. Here are my pumpkin collection, nothing in that little rail box there. We do have a couple rocking chairs out here. And yeah, this is the space. I do have big plans for this space next year. There's the kitties. They always want to come outside. Okay, so I have brought in all of the little pumpkins that I had out on the patio, just as decorations. Something I've never done before is I've never actually processed pumpkins, like to eat and to put in pies and soup and whatever. So I'd like to try that, and I think like these little ones will be fine. This is just some dirt from where they were sitting in the pots I had them in. This one I'm pretty sure is an actual like pie pumpkin, so I think it should be pretty tasty. This is like, you know, I think more of like a field pumpkin. So we'll see how that goes. Ones I'm not sure, these little squash here, I have no idea if these are like tasty to eat. Like I'm sure they're edible, like as in they won't harm you to eat them, but I figure these are probably grown more for appearance and less for taste. So I don't know if they're any good or not, and like these ones here. But if we don't try to cook them, they will just go to waste. Another thing I could do, you know, I guess I could open these up and then take them for the chickens to munch on and see if they like them. Maybe I'll do that. But these ones, these little ones here, this one and this one, we're definitely going to attempt to process them to make something. Okay, so I did get a little bit paranoid, and I went ahead and Googled if you can actually eat edible gourds, and this article was the first thing that popped up saying that they're actually might be dangerous to eat. Okay, so after reading that article online, which it's not like I want to just assume that it's correct, but I also don't know that I want to take the risk. So everything else I read seemed to imply that that they should be safe. It also said though that some of these like decorative squashes might technically be gourds and they don't cook up the same way that pumpkin does. So really, I'm just kind of confused on if these are okay to eat or not. So I'm just going to not bother with them. Like these seem to puncture pretty easily, so they're probably a squash. I don't know though. I don't think I want to risk it. But I guess, you know, if you've like actually processed decorative squashes slash gourds, I guess you could also answer, is this a squash or is this a gourd? I don't know. But if you've had any luck processing things like these specifically, let me know. I'd be interested to know. I hate to just like toss them, but I think I'll still take them to the chickens and see if they want to eat them or not. I guess if they don't eat them, then we'll just put them in the compost pile. But yeah, let me know. We are still going to process these. So after everything was said and done, I decided to actually keep these decorative squashes and just put them on display. I figured, why not? At least through Thanksgiving, they're really cute and we'll give them to the chickens later. So here I'm just giving my pumpkins a quick rinse, making sure they're nice and clean before I process them. I have the smaller ones grouped here, and we're gonna start with the big pumpkin. Okay, so I just sliced open the big pumpkin, and I think I'm gonna cut it into like slices to roast. But I'm gonna take out all of the seeds, and we're gonna try doing some roasted pumpkin seeds too. So we'll see how that goes. I'll save all of the like gunky parts and take it to the chickens. Now we'll start on the pie pumpkin. Okay, you can really see the difference between this sugar pumpkin or pie pumpkin on the inside. So the seeds are really compacted in here, and there's more meat when you consider the size of the pumpkin. So definitely way less stringy. Like this whole hunk just came out together with the spoon rather than coming out in strings and strands like the bigger pumpkin did. So a lot easier to clean out. Next up, we'll see how these tiny pumpkins do. So cute. Okay, so these little pumpkins are really hard. Like, I mean, I don't have the sharpest of knife, but it's not like completely dull, and I had to hit it really hard just to get the knife in there. So I kind of like wedged the knife in and then like put a little napkin on top and then like beat it into the little pumpkin with this thing. Probably not good for my knife. But on looking at how they look on the inside, they have this really green kind of ring there, which I don't know if that has anything to do with ripeness or not, but it just seems kind of like I don't know. I'm not sure that these would even really be that good, you know, to eat. Plus, when you look at them, how, you know, if this is the medium size, the smaller pumpkin here, the sugar pumpkin, and when you look at how little meat you would get off of it anyways, after you clean out the middle, I don't even know that it's worthwhile. So what I'm thinking is that I will just take these to the chickens and just smash them open at the barn, like with a hammer, and then lay them out for the chickens to peck at and enjoy, because I just don't, I don't know that it's worthwhile, and it might even be kind of dangerous trying to cut them open. So we'll skip these. So moving on. Okay, both trays are in there, and we'll see how they do. Okay, I think these are done cooking now. Andres and I were just talking about how you can really see like the texture of these little sugar pie pumpkins. It's just totally different from the texture of these carving pumpkins. But I think that these are done. They're pretty tender, I might put them in for another 5 to 10 minutes, maybe 10 more minutes, and just leave these ones out because I think these are definitely done. They're very tender. But I think we'll still process them all together. I'll just mix the meat from these with these. I've never done this before, and I feel like I don't really have anything to lose by giving it a try. I mean, I would have just thrown the pumpkins out or fed them to the chickens. So I think we'll try it, and if we make something with it and it's not, you know, it doesn't taste like pumpkin puree should taste, then I'll know not to do it again. But I think it would be really fun to get more of these pie pumpkins, or maybe even try to grow some next year, and I can make a bunch of really good pumpkin puree with those. So yeah. Okay, now that these have cooled a little bit and I can actually handle them, I'm just going through and scooping out all of the flesh to make the puree. I did go ahead and cook these for about 10 more minutes, and which I think is all that they can take, because they're definitely starting to like get, you know, really cooked. So they're tender. I think they're as tender as they will be. I'm just really not sure about this like stringiness. You know, it reminds me of like the texture of spaghetti squash, to be honest, but I don't think it would taste like spaghetti squash, of course. But I think we're just gonna go ahead and do it, and I'm hoping that by mixing these with the sweeter pumpkin, it'll kind of balance it out a little bit, but yeah, kind of interesting, and we'll see how it goes. Now I have this bowl full of all of the pumpkin meat, and I'm just gonna run it through the food processor until it's smooth. And then I'll probably have to do that in batches, of course, because there's a lot of pumpkin here and not a lot of room there. But once it's all processed, I'll go ahead and mix it together so that both of the kinds of pumpkin get combined at least a little bit. So that's what we'll do next. Okay, one thing I have going is the pumpkin still has a lot of moisture in it, so I have the puree here, and I'm just like kind of straining it to get some of the water out of it. Obviously, it probably won't end up being quite as thick as like a canned pumpkin, but hopefully this will help a little bit. This would be really nice if I had like cheesecloth or something like that that I could reuse, and hopefully this will actually work out, but this is the best thing I can think of. I also went ahead and moved the unpureed pumpkin into a colander to start draining, just to kind of help with that process. So that's where we're at so far. Okay, so I had to run that through the food processor in 4 batches, I think. And definitely a lot of water has come off of the puree, and a lot of water came off of the meat that I had draining, the pumpkin meat I had draining in the sink. I also taste tested the different batches because I had the like normal kind of field carving pumpkin on top, and it's not that it tastes bad, but the lower batches that had the sugar like pie pumpkin meat in those batches, it is notably sweeter. So I do think it makes a difference, as expected. But I think that once they're all blended together, it will help kind of even them out. And whatever I end up making, you know, pumpkin is kind of like one of those background flavors anyways. If I'm making a pie, it's gonna have a bunch of sugar in it, so it'll be okay. So you can see that it has the little texture from the napkin, but this is all the water that came off of just the purees, and I still have one more batch to kind of just let soak a little bit. So there's definitely a lot of water that's coming out of the puree, and I do wish I had a cheesecloth. I think I'll end up getting some cheesecloth. I'm sure there's a number of things I could use it for anyways. It'd just be something good to have on hand. But I think, this is my first time doing this, so probably pumpkin, experienced pumpkin pureers probably know if this is even really an issue. Like, you can still see there's a little bit of water in there, but it's pretty thick, I think. Like, like that's pretty thick. So yeah, but I think it couldn't hurt to get some of the water out, so that's why I did that. And also, one of the YouTube videos I watched from Acre Homestead, that's where she actually said something about letting some of the pumpkin meat drain to get some of the water out. I think she had a Thanksgiving video last year where her and her mom let it drain a little bit, so that's where I got the idea. But and watching that video is also what inspired me to kind of go ahead and give it a try. So anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and let this one drain a little bit in the colander with the paper towel. Get that set back up here, and then we'll start putting this in bags. So this is the mess that I am left with after my pumpkin processing attempt yesterday. Not attempt, we actually did it, so it was more than an attempt. So we're gonna clean this kitchen up. It's kind of a disaster. I do have the pumpkin in here, completely solid. How exciting. I'm not exactly sure how I'm gonna use it yet, but at least now we have the option. So that's in there. These are all scraps and things I'm gonna take to the chickens, but there's just a lot going on in here. So we're gonna clean this up. Here we go. I definitely feel much better. It didn't take nearly as long as I thought it would. And now it's done. I brought all of the pumpkin scraps and some other things I had in my fridge that just needed to get out the door out to the chickens to enjoy as a treat, and they are already loving it. Hi. Okay, I still have to fill up their feeder, but they are already loving their treats. I put some blueberries in there. Just kind of making little spots where they can eat separately. I think they like it though. Here's some eggs. We're gonna grab those. Yeah. All right, friends, that's going to wrap up this video for today. Thank you so much for joining me while I tried making pumpkin puree for the first time. I learned a couple things, but overall, I think it was a success. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!